been waiting for. The next name that I will announce will be your new Miss Earth USA, who will be representing the USA at the international competition this fall. If, for any reason, our Miss Earth USA cannot fulfill her duties, Miss Earth USA Air will take her place. Are you ready? Me too. Your new Miss Earth USA 2021, Maine! Means your first runner-up, Miss Earth USA Air, is California. Just wanna feel this moment. I just wanna feel this moment. Congratulations to Alyssa Clincy, our Miss Earth USA Air, and the new Miss Earth USA 2021, Marissa Butler.
Christina Aguilera. Oh, yeah, mamita. Dale, que es la cosa bonita. Feel this moment.
Congratulations, Marissa. You will take your first walk as Miss Earth USA 2021. Congratulations to our new court and our new Miss Earth USA. At this
Yeah, so my name is Danielle Purtell. I was born and raised in a small town in Michigan, so way up north from Louisiana, actually. I did my undergraduate studies at the University of Michigan, and then I came all the way down here to Louisiana to New Orleans for my medical school. I'm in my final year of medical school, and I am currently interviewing for family medicine residency programs. So doing that at the same time as preparing for Miss Earth USA is a little bit stressful, a little bit hectic, but it's actually really exciting. I'm getting a lot of interview practice, so that's kind of built into my pageant preparation. Outside of the pageant preparation, I have 2 dogs. I have 2 rescue pit bulls who are like my favorite thing on earth. I have a urban homestead in my backyard, so I have chickens, I have a garden, and I keep myself busy with all my animals.
For me, New Orleans is only carnival.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot to be here, but there's nothing like New Orleans. It's a really special city.
Yes, and we have a French Quarter in the New Orleans.
Absolutely, and so much French architecture, and it's such a beautiful city. I'm really thankful to have spent so much time here.
Miss Earth Louisiana, Miss Louisiana Earth, is your first title, or have you competed in another pageant before?
So this will actually be my last title. I'll be retiring from pageants after this because I'll be graduating as a medical doctor and have to retire to focus on my career. I got started a National American Miss about 8 years ago. I was 18 years old and I just got a letter in the mail one day. And I asked my mom if I could compete, and she said no, and that I would make a fool out of myself. So I put together a PowerPoint presentation on why I would be a good investment in my community. And I went to local businesses and told them, why they should give me money to do this pageant. And I raised like $500 $500 in just a couple days. So I just went to my mom and gave her the money and said, hey, I need you to book the hotel because I'm not old enough to book the hotel. And I went to that state pageant and I won. And then I went to nationals, and I did not place at nationals, but I definitely caught the pageant bug. From there, I kind of transitioned pretty quickly into the Miss America organization for a couple of years. And that's where I spent most of my time. And you know, I love the Earth system because I think they really value smart girls. And that's why I've had my eye on Earth USA for a long time. And I'm so excited to be ending my pageant career here, because as someone who will be a medical doctor in just a couple months, a pageant system that values education and values intelligence is really important to me.
Do you think you have not the same value between Miss USA system and Miss Earth United States system?
The same values between the two?
Between two big pageants in United States, Miss USA and Miss Earth United States?
You know, I see a lot of the same glamour. I think it'll be exciting in the next couple of years I think we're going to start seeing like Earth USA on TV, like we see Miss USA on TV. I think Earth USA is going to be one of the systems that people, like lay people on the streets, are going to know about and be talking about. We're seeing, you know, the glitz and the glamour and the model walks and that level of competitive edge. And of course it feeds into an international system. And so I think that caliber of girls and that model quality and that level and standard is what's giving us a really high quality.
Means for you the motto of Miss Earth, beauty for a cause.
Beauty for a cause. I think that when lay people outside of the pageant world see or think of beauty pageants, they really think of just facial beauty. They think toddlers and tiaras. They think of someone who just wants a crown and just wants to feel and look pretty. And in my experience, it's so much more than that. We're truly here to be making a difference in our community and to be serving our community. And I love the Earth USA system and the Miss Earth system so much because our platform is built into the system. So we are all serving a common purpose of protecting planet Earth and you know, being around on this planet for generations to come. The most recent UN climate reports say that, you know, this planet isn't going to be around through 2050, and that's a horrible thing to think about. I mean, I want my children to have a planet to live on. I think we can all agree. So I think it's so special and so empowering that the Earth system is, you know, really changing the face of pageantry because it's built into our title, you know, Miss Earth USA. It's built into our name because we care about the planet, and that's the first thing you know when you hear our title.
With this title of Miss Louisiana Earth, how do you think you impact the people, your community, to protect the planet?
So the day that I was scheduled to be crowned Miss Louisiana Earth was the day that Hurricane Ida hit. And the day that Hurricane Ida hit was actually the 16th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, which absolutely devastated the state of Louisiana and particularly New Orleans. And the state of Louisiana is still hurting from Katrina, and it's never going to recover and will never recover from Ida. And so with every storm, it hurts us in ways that we can't recover from. It takes away our coastline, and the coastline buffers us from storms. So it's just eating away in ways that we can't recover from. And so it really kind of gave me a really impactful way to donate, and it gave me a purpose for my year. I knew the second that storm hit, this is what I want my year to be about. I'm going to use this year to serve mostly for hurricane recovery, and most of my service has been for hurricane recovery efforts because that's the primary thing that I think is hurting Louisiana and is putting, you know, the city of New Orleans at risk.
Do you think in Louisiana people do enough to protect the planet?
It's hard because Louisiana residents know that they are vulnerable because of the geography, but at the same time, economically, they are very dependent on the oil and gas industry. But the oil and gas industry is what is eroding the coastline. So it's a very complicated dynamic where the industry that keeps them alive is the industry that is going to be the death of them and the death of their state. So it's a very difficult discussion to have with these people, where, short versus long-term goals, and, putting food on the table versus having a house in 10 and 20 years. It's a hard discussion to have with people, and it's a hard thing to visualize these goals and long-term discussions of the planet and the land around us.
What is specifically your platform for Miss Earth United States?
It's all centered around Hurricane Ida recovery. So every service thing I've done is about Hurricane Ida recovery. When the storm struck, I was actually evacuated into Houston, Texas, because it was not safe to be here. And within 24 hours of the storm hitting, I actually raised over $600 to purchase supplies for relief efforts to help clean up and to get people like cleaning supplies, toys for children who had lost everything in the storm, toiletries to help people, feel like themselves again.
Do you think it's a platform, it's a platform for Miss Earth, the international pageant?
I think it can be, because natural disasters are not unique to Louisiana. I'm Filipino American, and every couple of years there's something terrible natural disaster wise happening in the Philippines. I know my freshman year of college, there was a huge typhoon going through my mom's hometown. So natural disasters happen everywhere, and it's a beautiful thing, the way that the community comes together and helps each other out. So I think we can do a lot of good teaching the community how they can use each other and build each other up. This will sound cliche, but I really do think it's how women carry themselves. And I think you can really see it in the last 2 years, how it's been a virtual pageant. So you can study the girls' videos and kind of sit and dissect them, which is really fun for me. It's how they lock eyes with the camera. It's how they flick their hair just very slightly. It's how they smile in just the most subtle way. It's the very just tiny, tiny details. I don't care about whether or not you have a tiny wrinkle right here. I don't care who has gotten lip filler. I don't care how many grams of hair extensions you have in, but I care about how confidently you're walking. I care about how you stare into that camera, and I care about, how you hold your shoulders back. I remember the girls who make me want to look at them. I don't remember the girls who are the most facially stunning. I really do think it's about how you project that confidence.
With your title, you become a role model. It's not too difficult to be a role model for a lot of girls in the United States.
It's, I don't think I've ever really struggled with the burden or privilege of being a role model, just because I've always wanted a role model, and I've always struggled looking for a role model. As an Asian American and a Filipino American woman in medicine, growing up in a small town in Michigan, I didn't find role models. And it was really hard for me to find people who looked like me, who had my goals. So the fact that I'm in a position where I get to be a role model for people, I think is such an honor. So I've never really been nervous about being that person for people, because I'm just so excited by it. And I think it's such a special thing.
You say me it was difficult for you to have a role model. Who is your role model in life?
I really look up to actually the Dean of Student Affairs at my medical school. Her name is Dr. Alma Ledoux. And my favorite thing about her is the fact that even though she is such an accomplished doctor and she is a world-renowned cardiologist, she is very open and very candid about all of the times in her life where she's made mistakes or she's felt confused or felt like she's been the dumbest person in the room. And especially as medical learners, it's so easy to feel like we're not allowed to make mistakes or that we have to be perfect. And I think in the pageant world too, it's easy to feel like we have to be perfect 24/7. And certainly there is an expectation of us to always, we have to carry ourselves to a very high standard, but at the same time, we have to give ourselves a little bit of grace because we are human. And so having a role model I can look up to who's very open with the fact that she's not perfect and we don't have to be, and that we can make mistakes as we learn, has been really empowering for me. I'm really looking forward to meeting the other contestants. As a med student, I do not get to meet people who are not other medical students. I'm really just sequestered in the hospital and I don't leave and I don't talk to other people. So that's why I'm so passionate about continuing with pageants throughout my medical education, because it's so important to me to see people outside. I know that there's lawyers, there's marketing professionals, there's teachers, there's so many incredible and accomplished young women who I'm competing against, and I'm just so excited to spend a week with them.
With your medical study, we have a full-time job. If you win the crown of Miss Earth United States, do you think you have the time for this crown?
Yeah, I actually planned it really well. So the pageant is in January, and then my residency match day isn't until March, and then my residency wouldn't start until June. So if I were to win the title, I would have plenty of time to either defer my residency or select a program and rank my programs accordingly, with a program that would be very flexible with my role and my responsibilities as Miss Earth USA. So the timing worked out perfectly where I'd be able to balance both of those responsibilities.
Why do you think you are the best candidate to win the crown of Miss Earth United States?
I think being down here in Louisiana in such a vulnerable state geographically, we see firsthand every single day the impact of the climate crisis. Every single time it rains, even a light rain for 20 minutes, my street floods, my entire city floods. We are so devastatingly vulnerable to the climate. And there's a lot of cities around the country that don't see the climate in the way that we do. And we like to say, Chicago, New York, all these other places, they are going to be New Orleans in 10 or 20 years. And so we're kind of a snapshot into the future. And I think it's important that I'm able to relay my experiences as a New Orleans resident so that people understand what it is going to be like for the rest of the country and the world.
What is your best asset?
My best asset, I like to say physically my smile, because it ties into just a characteristic. I just like my smile, and I'm the type of person who's always making a joke. I'm the type of person who's always trying to lighten the mood. And after going through 2020 and with COVID and everything, life is hard enough, and there's beauty in every situation, no matter how hard it is. And I think it's really important that we always try to find the beauty and the lightness in every situation.
In this competition, which challenge, which part do you like the most? It's interview, swimsuit parade, evening gown, or other?
I love evening gown. I'm so excited for evening gown, especially because as a Filipino American, since this is my last pageant, I found a Filipino designer, King Fernando, who made my evening gown. This is the first time I've ever gotten a custom evening gown, so it's really special to me. And to have a Filipino designer is extra special. So I'm really looking forward to getting to debut that on stage.
You say many times it's your last pageant, but after you study, you can competitive in the Misses category.
It'll be my last pageant for a couple of years. You know, I'll finish my residency, which is a 3-year residency, and then we'll see what happens then.
I have interviewed Mrs. International 2021, Yolanda Sennett, and she said me, when you love and start pageantry, you can stop the pageantry.
I have, you know, I've retired at least once before, so I have a feeling I might unretire again, but for certain, this will be my last pageant for at least 3 years, so.
But after, you can compete for the Miss Elite Earth, for example.
That's definitely on the table, but for now, you know, this I'm trying to, you know, really frame it as my last for a long time.
I have discovered a new contest, Grandma Universe. For the grandma, you can competitive until you're this.
It's once you get the bug, it's impossible to stay away. It's so hard.
We have the doors are not closed. For me, it's my impression. If you win Miss Earth United States, which first strong action do you want to do, like the new Miss Earth United States?
You know, I hadn't thought that far ahead. I've been so stressed with my residency interviews. I know I haven't looked at the Louisiana legislation that much, and I do know that there is a lot of work to be done there in terms of protecting our coastlines. There are some really good numbers that I don't have memorized yet, but like for every 20 feet of wetland coastline, it saves Louisiana taxpayers like $100,000 in damages for every storm. And so I think if we can regulate the oil and gas industry in some way to kind of balance out the coastline erosion, which is being disintegrated at such a fast rate, that will be so powerful in protecting the state of Louisiana from hurricanes. And it's not just the state of Louisiana too, because if we look back at Hurricane Ida went all the way from Louisiana up to New York City, and it flooded the New York City subways. So, I mean, if we could have weakened that storm just a little bit over Louisiana, I would like to think it wouldn't have flooded New York. I mean, that's bananas.
And I don't know the history of Miss Earth United States. Louisiana have already won the crown of Miss Earth United States.
I don't think we've had a Miss Earth United States, but we've had a couple elemental queens, and I think we've had a teen won the national title, but we've had a couple, I think a Miss Earth United States Fire, and then maybe in the like a Mrs. division or the Ms. Elite, we've had an elemental queen as well.
If you win the crown of Miss Earth United States, you make the history.
That would be exciting.
What is the most exciting, the most fun in the beauty contest for you?
I just love getting dressed up. That was really the thing that drew me into pageants. I've always been a girly girl, and the idea of doing pageants at age 18 when I had the opportunity, being able to put on a sparkly dress and be on stage was what really got me excited. And even now, it never gets old, being able to put my hair in rollers and put on those big eyelashes. That's still a lot of fun.
Are you a fashionista?
I used to be, but then when I got to medical school, I just did not have time anymore. So I wish I could be, but I don't have the time to keep up.
Who is your favorite designer?
Oh gosh, in terms of like gown designers, I'm a huge Margot Cinco fan. Just Filipino designers all the way. I'm a huge supporter of Filipino gown designers.
Hard question for all candidates.
I'm sorry?
It's a hard question now it's a hard question for all candidates. Who is your favorite Miss Earth?
Oh gosh. I hate to take the easy route out, but the current Miss Earth right now, Lindsay Marie Coffey, is excellent. And I have never seen any title holder in any system at any level who can speak the way that she does. And I think it's so powerful and so important for pageant candidates and title holders to be able to speak and command a room and command an audience how she does. And I think especially for climate issues and earth issues, and in today's society where pageants aren't always relevant, the way that she's able to command attention and change people's minds is so powerful.
With the crown of Miss Earth, you become a voice for the foundation, for the Miss Earth Foundation. What is your message to women if you win the crown of Miss Earth United States?
I think, above all, I think I look back when I got started in pageants, and I get this question all the time: how do I get started in pageants? And I recently got this question too. And my answer is always just to do it and think later, do first, think later. Because if you think about it too hard, you're going to hold yourself back. And, you have to go for it and make a couple mistakes and, maybe look a little silly on stage and just learn from that experience. Because if you sit and just kind of have decision paralysis and let yourself be too nervous, you're never going to go for it. And if I hadn't taken that risk, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you today.
What is the most difficult for you, to be a medical student or to be a beauty queen?
They're so different in each way, but I do think that being a pageant title holder and a beauty queen is a little bit harder. And I tell people all the time that my pageant experience makes medical school and especially residency interviews so much easier. The subtle training and the unspoken rules of pageantry are harder to learn than a lot of the medical education, because that's in textbooks, whereas the pageant stuff and the ladylike stuff is kind of unspoken. You have to learn by yourself.
You seem very happy to compete at Miss Earth. What do you like the most in pageantry?
I love being on stage. I grew up as a competitive dancer, and after high school, I was so sad because I didn't think I'd be able to be on stage. And then I found a dance group in college. I was really happy about that because I could keep dancing. And then I graduated and I was sad again because I didn't think I could be on stage. And then in medical school, I was still able to do a handful of pageants, and that was really my last ability to be on stage. And now, this is my last pageant for a couple of years, and just my last time to be on stage for a couple of years, and that's always so special to me.
You have no fears on stage? Fear to fall?
I wasn't nervous about it until you mentioned it. Honestly, I grew up dancing so much that I think when I was younger, I might have been a little nervous, but I've been on stage enough that if I did fall, I'd probably just kind of roll out of it and giggle and keep going.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Oh my goodness, we have such great food in New Orleans, and I also have just the worst sweet tooth on the planet. So I'm door dashing and Postmating way too much.
Are you a good chef?
No, I'm a terrible chef. That's why I'm always getting food delivered. It's such a shame. I wish I could cook. I try, but it's never good. So then I throw it away.
Who cook in your home?
I cook fine. I'm an okay chef. I can cook edible food. I can cook well enough to survive, but I can order food from people who cook very well, and that's what I prefer.
you must find a cook, a chef for husband.
That's always been the plan. It really has been. I have not succeeded yet, but hopefully in the future.
We launch the message. We search a husband, a cook husband for you.
Fingers crossed.
What is your favorite movie or TV series?
I love, there's this TV show on Netflix called Vikings, and it's not even a very good storyline. It's not complex. The character development is not even that good, but I just like Viking characters. I think they're just beautiful people, beautiful actors. I like the costuming, and that's enough for me.
It's a
I
good,
watch a lot of,
it's
I
not a
watch a lot
good
of,
it's not a good history, but it's a good entertainment.
yes, it's visually appealing. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't have a ton of time for it, honestly, but when I do, I just watch football on the weekends, honestly.
If you could design a perfect planet, what are the planet looking?
So growing up in the state of Michigan, we're surrounded by the Great Lakes. So when I think of a perfect environment, I just think of freshwater lakes everywhere you look. So lakes and rivers and just a lot of open fresh water. And then I think of a lot of trees kind of sprinkled around. So honestly, like I just think of the state of Michigan, honestly. I know I'm representing Louisiana, but I think of like northern Michigan, especially in the fall. It's such a beautiful place.
You represent Louisiana. What do you like the most in Louisiana?
The winters here are so beautiful. It doesn't get cold to me. Coming from Michigan, it doesn't get cold to me. It gets like maybe 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's pleasant. So I love to spend time outside. I take my dogs camping all the time. So we just kind of go hiking. I'm not good at fishing, but I try, and I don't catch a single thing, but I try.
Like a cookie, you try.
I give it a good shot, and that's all we can hope for.
Which item is amazing in your purse?
In my purse, I take sunscreen and sun protection very seriously. So I always have a body SPF and a face SPF, and I apply them like every 2 hours on the dot religiously. So those are my favorite things in my purse.
Which essential item you put in your language in your bag for Florida, for Orlando, and you can leave your house without?
Probably my phone, but it's my phone because I always have like a camera pointing at my dogs, and I'm obsessed with my dogs. So I'm not even checking my text messages because no one's texting me. I'm looking at my dogs because I want to see what they're doing, and they're just sleeping. It's not exciting, but I just love them.
During the national, where are your dog?
They'll actually be boarding at the vet. My girl dog just had knee surgery, so they will probably just be sleeping at the vet.
What is the reaction of your family when you say, I win the crown of Miss Louisiana Earth?
They they are just so nonchalant about everything I do. I have just a really bizarre collection of hobbies. So I remember one time I ran a marathon and I texted them that, and no one texted me back for 3 days. So I don't think they responded when I told them I won Miss Louisiana Earth. But they do that in a loving way because they know I'm always so busy with something that, you know, I could win Miss Earth USA and they might text me back 3 days later and they'd be like, oh, of course you did. So they mean the best. They just know that I'm always up to something.
Your family go to Florida, to Orlando to support you during the national?
They probably will not actually. So my mom is a nurse, my brother is a doctor, my sister's a medical student, my brother's a business student, my dad's a lawyer. So they're really busy, and I don't blame them. They're gonna tune in online.
But I see you have a medical family, a lot of
Yeah.
medical student or doctor or nurse.
Yes, yeah. So they're very busy, especially with the pandemic and everything. I'll text them updates. They're very busy. I mean, God bless them. I just have I really do have the sweetest people who follow me. And honestly, most of them followed my dogs first. My dogs are very popular online. And they have supported every single thing I do, even when I do silly things, with unconditional love and support. And I really am so thankful that they support every single one of my eclectic hobbies, from weightlifting to gardening to pageants to my dogs and my dog sports. And I just want to say thank you for putting up with the just wild things that I've chosen to do with my life, because I see every one of their DMs and it really does mean the world to me.
Your dog have Instagram?
My dogs do have Instagrams. They have more followers than me. They are definitely cooler than me. So it's okay. I'm not offended.
What is the username of your dog on Instagram?
So my boy is Blackie.thegoodboy and my girl is Birdie.thegoodgirl. And it's in my own personal Instagram. They're linked in my bio because they're cooler than me.
And you can support you on Instagram.
Yeah, my personal Instagram is at Danielle Nicole Purtell, or you can follow the Miss Louisiana Earth Instagram, and it's linked through there too.